That was such a bop. We just had to finish it. Also, there's so many people still coming in. So I just wanted to give everyone a chance to get in, give us some pump up music. We're ready for day 4, Camp Canvas Live. Let's go over what we're going to talk about because there is a lot of good content today. The 9 a.m. session was popping. People really liked what we showed because it really shows you all the engaging, cool ways that you can have students work in Canvas. All right, so let's get going. What we're going to do today, one, we're going to show you how to set up assignment groups and then assign weights to those groups. We still don't know, of course, how this is going to sync with the hub. So we're going to wait for official information. But if you're standards-based, this is going to really give you insight as to how to set up your Canvas gradebook so that it looks standards-based. 2, skip 2. Understand how to see student activity with analytics. So there's a feature that you can go in and you can see how students have logged in, what they've looked at, how much time they've spent in your course. So we're going to look in on it and show you how to do that. 3, understand the features of the gradebook. And I'm going to remember, again, we don't know how it's going to integrate in the fall and what steps we might take to have to do that. So we can't show you that now, but you'll see what the gradebook looks like. 4, you're going to understand how to use SpeedGrader. So SpeedGrader is what we use to grade student work. It allows you to annotate and write on the student work and comment and give feedback with video. SpeedGrader is pretty awesome. If you have an iPad, a personal iPad, I would highly recommend you download the Canvas Teacher app. That is really going to give you even more power, just being able to write on the screen and annotate on the student's work. Super cool. So if you have a personal iPad, I definitely would recommend. It's going to allow you to sit on that couch, watch your How I Met Your Mother marathon, grade your work, just skim through the pages, and yeah, makes it very comfortable. All right, 5, we're going to understand how to create a video in Canvas Studio as well as make that into a quiz, kind of like Edpuzzle. Not as powerful as Edpuzzle, but still nice and built in. And 6, show you how to integrate some apps. So this is the money spot. This is like the meat of today. This is the part you're going to walk away with being like, wow, that is going to be so helpful. And this is going to make Canvas really come alive for not just me, but my students too. So that's where we're going today. Hopefully everyone is excited. We are going to get started with assignments. Let's see. Oh. Okay. So on my assignments page, I'm in a class. This is my assignments page. I'm going to show you how to make assignment groups. So you'll see a little button here that says plus group. When you first make a class, there's just one general group of assignments, and that's called assignments. I am going to click plus group. And if I am at a standards-based school, mine is going to say summative, and my summative is going to be worth 90%. I'm going to save that. Maybe you're 80-20, that's fine. This is just an example. Maybe you're 100-0. I'm going to put my formative, and I'm going to put 10%. And then I'm going to put informative. That's the stuff your students are doing, but doesn't receive a grade. Put 0%. And when you click this plus group button, you may not see that little total grade. And that's okay. If you don't see it, you're going to go up here to the 3 dots, and you're going to click assignment group weights. And you're going to enter those weights here. So you would have to click this little button, weight, final grade based on assignment types, and then enter your weights here. So that's going to set up your weighting and assignment types. Then when you go and make an assignment, you're going to select the assignment type as one of the fields you'll fill in. And by choosing the correct field, it will weight that assignment accurately in the grade book. Yeah, groups are like the categories in the hub, exactly. So I could choose summative, and then this would be weighted 90% in my Canvas gradebook. Billy, I think Billy, Janelle are moderating. I'm not sure who's going to feed me questions, but do we have any questions?
You got the one that popped up, so.
All right, great. All right, so that's the assignment weights. The the next thing I'm going to do is the new analytics. Analytics are the way that you can view what your students are doing and how much they're participating in the class. You can see their activity and how much time, etc. This is going to be helpful to use when you're in a parent-teacher conference, or if you're a SPED teacher, seeing their activity. So this is where you're going to access this. You're going to be on the home page of your course, so you're going to click home, and then you'll see a link on the right-hand side that says New Analytics. So home page, New Analytics. Click on New Analytics, and you will see the activity for all the students listed in your class. Let's go here. This is our class that you guys are a part of right now. So I can see course grades. We don't really grade work in this class, so you're not going to see any percentage or graph for that. But if this was your course, you would see a graph representing the spread of grades. You can also see the weekly activity. So how much people have been interacting. Right now, I don't have any data apparently. And I can see my students. All right, let's go back to course grade. So under course grade, I would see, where is it? I guess it's just loading. Oh, I'm in a class that doesn't have people. That's why. I was wondering. All right. Let's go into our Camp Canvas class. That would be helpful to be in a class that has people in it. All right, go to Camp Canvas Live. All right, again, I'm on my home page. I'm going to click New Analytics. And now we'll see some data. All right. Okay, so I can see any data here. I can see these are, people have completed the assignment, any percentage of that have completed it. I can look at my weekly activity. So this is how many page views I've had. So I can see, days and times people are active. And then I can go to students. And I can see activity for students. Okay, so I can see how many page views Shannon has had. She's viewed 27 pages. I can see, the last time someone was active. And then I can even click on the student and I can see even more granular detail about them. So I can see their weekly activity. So I can see how many pages she's viewed. And then I can also look at any communications between the instructor. So again, New Analytics is just a tool you'll be able to use to help monitor student activity, especially in a remote situation like we're gonna have, just seeing that they're engaging. And if you don't see any of that engagement, that's when you can reach out and call the parents and say, hey, I don't see that your kid's logged into my class at all. Is everything okay? How can I support you? All right, so that's number 2. The next thing I'm going to look at is the grade book. So on the course navigation on the left, you're going to see grades. All right, so it's loading. It's going to look just like your traditional grade book. You have assignments across and names down. You can do a few things. One first thing I want to point out is the gear in the top right corner. So you can click that gear and you can make some settings. And I'm going to give you some recommendations for those settings. So, kind of coming. All right, so late policies. I would apply an automatic 0 for late work. That's just going to prompt that student, if this is a policy at your school, to do the work. You can always go back and change that later. We do not, in Prince William County, deduct anything for late submission. So this would allow you to take 10% off. We don't do that in the county. That's against the grading policy. So we're not going to use that. So just imagine that's not there. Grade posting policy. You have two options. You can automatically post. That means once you put something in the grade box, they're going to automatically get a notification on their phone and see that. Or you can manually post grades. So maybe you want to put everyone in the class's grade in and then post manually. You can do that as well. So those are some settings to do up front. You can, in Actions, you can import or export a gradebook, so you can export it, or if you can import a CSV file, a template of your gradebook, if you look at the spreadsheet. You can change your view, so you can arrange by all of these options, so you can really customize it to how you like to see it. And then in Gradebook, there's actually two gradebooks, and this is a little interesting. So we have this numeric gradebook, and then you'll see something that says Learning Mastery, and this is connected to Outcomes. Now, Outcomes is another word for standards. So you can load in all of your standards and associate every assignment with a standard. If you do that, you would also create the second gradebook that is Learning Mastery. And so then you can see it would be exceeds, meets, near, or below mastery. And things would be color coded. And so over time for associated outcomes, their combined mastery would create a overall score for mastery on that item. We're hoping that KLC is going to load all of those outcomes for all of our standards in for us, because really that should be done at the main level. That's something, you know, that should be controlled and created there. So we're still waiting to see and know how they're going to be implementing those outcomes. But you definitely can load outcomes into your panel. You would do that in the course navigation. Load under the little tab that says Outcomes. So if I click on the 3 lines here, I go down to Outcomes, and that's where you can modify and create those outcomes. All right. Another thing I want to show you that's really, really handy and I think is super powerful. So for an assignment, you have the little snowman appear again. You can sort your items by grade. You can quickly access SpeedGrader for that whole assignment. And the thing that I love is you can message students who. So if I click on this, I can message all the students who haven't submitted the assignment yet in one click. So let the box load. So it says, okay, I can email everyone who hasn't been graded, or if you got a low score, or if you got a high score. So I can quickly send an announcement or email to all of these people, reminding them or telling them something about that assignment. And remember, parents can see all of that in their observer view, so they'll see that prompting that you're providing their student. So that's a great feature. Let's see what else. I can also just click on, setting a default grade would be like the fill, the autofill, putting a grade in for every student. That's set default grade. You can also just click on a student's box and enter their score. And you can also click this little arrow and it will open a side panel about, you can classify something as late, excused, and you can grade it right here on this page. So moderators, do we have any questions?
One that come up that I didn't know the answer to. Can you hide the totals?
Hide the totals.
Right?
I don't know.
That's
I don't
what
know if you
thought
can.
too.
That's, yeah, I haven't come across that, but something we can definitely look into.
And then the other one was the analytics is done just in the course analytics feature. There's not a gradebooks analytics, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, all right, cool. So that's Gradebook. Again, we're gonna wait till, next month, the beginning of September, to know exactly how this is gonna talk to the hub. So we'll share more information when we know. All right, moving right along. The next thing is SpeedGrader. Okay, so I'm gonna go into my class workroom where I actually have stuff to grade. Let me go back to the dashboard. My favorite way to get to SpeedGrader is from the dashboard. On the dashboard, there is a to-do list, and that to-do list has everything that you as the teacher need to grade. I think that's the easiest way to get to SpeedGrader. like I just showed you, you can get it from the grade book itself, but this tells me what I have to grade, and I think it's the most efficient way to go. So I can see here on my to-do list that I have a discussion to grade and some other assignments. I want to show you a discussion because this is really cool. If you're putting a discussion out there that students have to do, and let's say you say in the prompt that you need to write an original post and then respond to 2 classmates, you will see that students' responses and their responses to others all on one screen. So anything that student contributes to the discussion board is going to be on this one page. So you'll see this was her original response. If she had responded to classmates, it would be right down here. So if in my directions I make that, I can easily grade all of that student's contributions to the discussion board without having to bop around the discussion board itself. In SpeedGrader, I can then get to the next student by clicking her student name, and I would see anyone with an orange dot is one that's ready to be graded. If I've graded it, it's going to be at the bottom with a green check mark, okay? So those are the people I've graded. These people in gray haven't turned it in yet. And the orange dot again is done, submitted. In your SpeedGrader, you have some options. If I click on options, the default way that the students are arranged in that order is just by name. So if I choose by name and I go here and save, this is the default. This is how it will be when you first log in. These names, you can see they're just in no order at all. So they're going to be all mixed up. That is not very efficient, okay? You want to be as efficient as you can be, especially working from home, trying to do that home life work balance, okay? So you want to make sure to go into your options and sort the student list by submission status. That's going to group people that have submitted at the top, not submitted, and then graded at the bottom of that list. That's going to make your grading process much more efficient. So again, submission status, sort by submission status. We're going to save those settings. You'll do that once and you'll never have to do it again. You have noticed there was also a little button where I could check it and hide and grade anonymously. That would hide all the student names here. I wouldn't see any student names. However, I will still see their picture. So if they put their picture, the picture of them actually, and then over time, you know, you're going to get to know their pictures. It's not really going to be anonymous. So that's that. Let me show you another type of assignment to grade. I'm going to grade this one. And hopefully this will be an assignment with the annotator. So certain types, when students turn in files or images, you'll be able to annotate and draw right on that item. Again, this is why using the iPad app is really great. So if you have a personal iPad, definitely add the teacher app so you can do this annotation on the screen. All right, great. So I know this is the annotator because I have this gray toolbar across the top. And I have this student image here. So now I can annotate it. So I can click this little pin drop and I can drop it anywhere I want on the image, and I can even change the color of the pin. So if I have a system where I'm an English teacher and I'm going to use purple for grammar, blue for spelling, green for tone, I can have that system set up and students will start to learn it over time, especially if you say it to them. So I'm going to drop this pin here and then I can leave a comment. Here is a comment. And they're going to see that feedback when you submit this to them and give it back. Then I can also highlight. So if this was a text document, I could highlight the text. I can add text over this document. Hello. And you can see you can change the size of that text. You can strike through text. So again, if this was a text document and not an image, I could strike through. And then I can draw. So again, I can pick any color and draw on it. And this is where, again, that iPad app would be super awesome because you just draw with your finger and circle things, and that would work great. You can also put a box around things and leave a comment that way. So those are all the annotation features that you have in SpeedGrader. Other feedback that you can provide. You can attach a file to your feedback. So if you had an exemplar and you want to say, hey, maybe take a look at this and try again, you could do that. You can provide video or audio feedback. So you can record yourself, giving them verbal feedback. I think that's super powerful, especially in remote, to build those relationships with students, give them as much face time or at least voice time as you can. So creating that video response is powerful. And then the last one is speech to text. So I can click this button and I can record my comments without having to type. And I can just say, oh, wow, your paper looks really good. I say stop and it bops it into this comment button and I can press submit. What questions we have, Billy? I'm sure there's some.
I don't know anything about XP Pen. Do you?
Oh, I think that's like a bamboo tablet.
Oh, okay.
So that would allow them to write on the screen.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, if you had a bamboo tablet you could, or a touch screen, you'd be able to do all of the annotation on the screen as well.
Boom. Could you show again just how you gave the 3 different types of different kinds of feedback than just annotating, like the uploading, say, a rubric or recording video or doing audio?
Yeah, sure. So below on the right-hand side, there is a little paper clip. So that's where I could attach a file, the rubric or an exemplar. Here's a little media. So I can record either audio, I could turn the webcam off and just have audio, or I could turn the camera on and have video. And then the last one is where I can do speech to text. If I'm looking at their paper and I just want to say, I can move this to the side, I could be like, oh, wow, it looks really good here. And I would say, you should add this and maybe this part, look at it again. And then you click and then your comments are in the box. So
I like that it said baby instead of maybe.
Definitely do have to go back and check those things and speak as clearly as possible. And I'm sure Billy can make some recommendations as to very nice microphones that will pick you up the best as possible.
True story. You're going to get into this later, so I'm just going to put this as a bug in your ear. There's some chat about how to use SpeedGrader with external tools, and I know you'll show that later.
Yeah. So yes, there are some external tools. When you use the external tool, you will be able to use SpeedGrader. Yep. All right. I think, does that cover SpeedGrader? Everyone feel good?
I think the questions that they have about external tools and stuff like that are going to get answered more as they see SpeedGrader being used multiple ways.
Perfect. All right, so we're ready to move into LTI and embeds. Those are 2 separate things. I'm going to talk about LTIs first. So those are the external tools. And then I'm going to move into the embedding. Those are things that you can put on the page, but do not work and sync with SpeedGrader. Those are going to mostly be things like engaging activities that are formative and don't need to be graded, or informative and definitely don't need to be graded, but just provide your students some practice on those things in a new, innovative way. So let's first go to making some LTI assignments. The first one I want to show you is...
Dara, you okay?
There we go. Keep going.
Okay. So from your assignments page, you can make some assignments. And I'm actually going to go into one of my other courses, not our course here, because I have some LTIs in mine. I just want you to see that your LTI list could be very different from mine based on your schools. So if your school's purchased Nearpod, you might see that. If your school's purchased Edpuzzle, you might see that. Those are things that you're going to want after August 10th. You know, when your ITC is back on contract, that's when you're going to want to reach out to your ITC and ask them about what LTIs your school has that are school specific. So I'm going to go to assignments.
Before you get into that, could you, because I know this question is going to come up, could you give a quick, what is LTI again?
Yeah, an LTI is an external tool. So it's another app that implements and interacts with Canvas. Learning Tool Integration, LTI.
Fancy names.
All right, I'm gonna click, I'm gonna make an assignment. I'm gonna make a external tool assignment. So just like any assignment, I'm gonna give it a title. And these are assignments that you'll add to modules later. So I'm gonna say Adobe Spark example. So Adobe Spark is an LTI tool that everyone in the district has access to. So this is one that it applies to everyone that's here. So I am going to make this a required assignment. Actually, Adobe Spark is an excellent summative assignment. So Adobe Spark, they're going to be, oh, I don't have that in my groups. They're going to be making something to show you their knowledge. You know, remote learning is going to be different than in-class learning. It's very hard to give a multiple choice test with integrity. You know, anything multiple choice, you're going to have to just consider that open note. So if you really want to gauge student learning, you're going to have to move towards more authentic project-based assessments. And Adobe Spark is a great one for that. So I'm going to go down to submission type, and I want to select external tool. Then I'm going to click find. It will give me a list of all of the external tools I have in my school. So you'll see that I have Adobe Spark, but I also have some other ones like Edpuzzle, Flipgrid, Formative, all of these things. So again, this list is going to be dependent on your school. So I'm going to click Adobe Spark. The first time you do this, you may have to log in to your Adobe Spark account, which you can do from Clever. And I have a Wakelet that in my collection that will show you all about doing that, and I'll share that in a moment. So it's going to connect to my Adobe Spark account. That means if I make a template project for students, I can share that template with them and they can add to it. So maybe if I wanted to make a video template, I would add in all the different scenes that I wanted them to include in that video or all the subparts, and then the student would fill in that template. Same thing for an Adobe Spark web page. I could also start out that web page, provide them all the template, and they could continue working on it. In this case, I'm going to start create from new. And again, the three things you can have students do in Adobe Spark is you can have them make a web page. This is really great for reports, essays, blogs, and journals. You can have them make a video, so doing a slide presentation and talking over it, a read along, or just creating some creative video can be great here. And then post, that is for an infographic, a poster, or a flashcard. So these are the three types of projects students can do in Adobe Spark. I want my kids to make a video, so I'm going to attach the video template. So when they open this assignment, they're going to see that, oh, I'm going to go to Adobe Spark and I'm going to make the video. So it will take you back to this screen, and then you're just going to click select. You're going to put directions here about what you want them to include in the video. And then at the bottom of the screen, you will just say save or save and publish. So when they submit this, their evidence will go into SpeedGrader, and you'll be able to, if it's a web page or the graphic, you'll be able to edit it, or if it's the video, you'll be able to view it and give feedback. Yeah, Adobe Spark is available through Clever. So you'll see your students will receive this, they'll click make a copy, and they'll start working on their work. Student view, yeah, so to get to the student view, you click home. Oh, I didn't publish this one, so I have to go back. Remember, your assignments have to be published for a student to view them. If you don't have it published, the student cannot see it. So I didn't publish this one. This is in my teacher workroom, so all my teachers are going to think I'm assigning them a video project right now. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to click on student view. Modules. And we'll see what it looks like. Not all external tools, you're really going to be able to look at the student view and see what they experience, because the test student doesn't have a Clever account. Okay, so you're really able to only look at the examples of, you know, things that the test student can see. But we'll try this. And it's not there. All right, well, in any case, it's probably not going to show you what you want to see anyway. The only real way to see what another student will see for these external tools is to be Billy Watts or Dan Nimro and have children in Prince William County. If you are a teacher and you have children in Prince William County, add your kids to your sandbox, and then they can log in and they can see those assignments. Yeah. So we'll just skip the student view for now because it will just be disappointing. All right, I want to show you how to make one other type of external tool assignment, and that's a Flipgrid. Flipgrid, you are going to have to go to Flipgrid first and get a shared secret and a shared code and associate that with your course. So you're going to go to settings, and you have to connect Flipgrid to your course. And you can do this at the teacher level. So you're going to go into your course settings, and you will have to do this one time to each class. You have to connect each class separately. You're going to go to your apps. You're going to look for Flipgrid. All right, I have it installed. Let's see. But when I click Add App, see what it does. It's going to ask you for a consumer key and a shared secret. You're like, oh my gosh, how do I get a shared secret? It's not too hard. You're going to go over to Flipgrid. Going over to Flipgrid. You're going to log into your account, and I suggest you make your Flipgrid account with your PWCS email. Now, what is Flipgrid for those of you who don't know? This is a way to get students to provide oral video response, really great for building collaborative classroom culture in an asynchronous way. If you want students to create something and listen to each other and see each other, this is a really great tool for that. We had a great question about, oh, why would I use this and not just Canvas Studio to have students submit video? Canvas Studio would be really great to have students submit video for summative assignments. But if we really want them to be interacting with each other, Flipgrid is where it's at. So I'm going to go up to my account, and I'm going to look for integrations. Then I'm going to add a new integration. So this is going to be a new classroom. You'll do this one time for each classroom. So Canvas course, create, and it's going to give you that consumer key and that shared secret. So you're going to copy that, and you're going to take it back to those boxes in Canvas, and you're going to paste them. And that will then connect your class to Canvas. So you're going to do that one time in each class. Then you'll never have to do that again. So that's the setup for Flipgrid. Then you can make your Flipgrid assignments, and I'll show you how to do that. Once you have it set up, you'll go to assignments. No, you cannot use the same code for all your courses. Each class will have an individual code. So you'll generate that code. You'll do this several times. So you'll add a new integration. So I would just name these period 1, period 2, period 3, or name it science, English, etc. So you're going to have a separate grid for each course. So once you've connected Canvas and Flipgrid, then you'll add an assignment. And after you, okay, so you'll say practice. Cool. Okay. You can add your prompt here if you want. It will also be on the Flipgrid page. And again, you're going to click external tool and then find. That list of tools will come up. And we're going to look for Flipgrid this time. Where is it? Oh, alphabetical order, Katie. All right, so Flipgrid, select. All right, and then when I save, the Flipgrid window will be here in the screen for students to respond. It's that easy. And so that's how you'll just, every time you have a Flipgrid assignment, then you'll just do it that way. What questions do we have, Billy?
There's a lot of stuff about, different LTIs and which LTI can I use and how can kids access them. I think the biggest thing is to say that there are some things that the county has already provided. For example, Adobe Spark is free to all educational institutions, so it's free for everybody. Flipgrid is owned by Microsoft, and we already pay Microsoft, so it's free for everybody. And then what is the other ones that we have? VoiceThread is another one.
VoiceThread.
Discovery Ed.
Discovery
Right,
Ed, World Book.
World Book. So I think those are the county-wide ones. The other ones would be LTI integrations that your school admin decides to purchase.
Yep. So some of those might be in the highlights, might recommend Edpuzzle, Nearpod. Right. Nearpod is like, I told the last group, if you as your teacher are going to spend money on a program this year to ease your life, my recommendation would be Nearpod. It will be, with the paid Nearpod account, you'll be able to set self-paced lessons for your students to do that are presentations. You can have your voice on them and integrate formative assessment. With that paid account, you can connect it to the LTI of Canvas, and it will create a page. And let me show you what that would look like. Here, it's perfect. In the Speed Grader. So you'll be able to grade that student's work from the Nearpod in the Speed Grader. You'll see that if you've ever used Nearpod before, you used to get that report of the whole class on one page. But with the LTI integration, you actually get one student's responses on one page. And I can even, yeah, here it is. So here's her responses. So if there was participation, there could be that grade, then a quizzes grade. I could then just look at her responses and put her grade in the box. And then I could go to the next student. So it makes grading a response from Nearpod really very simple. So if you had a quiz in that at the end, you could have the, the presentation and the quiz, you get their quiz grade, you put it in the box, and you're on to the next student. So again, if you're going to spend about $100 on something this year to make your life easier, to make the experience better for your kids, if you're not a school Nearpod account, that's where I would put my money.
Yeah, and can you explain the difference between, I know you're going to get into this, but LTI versus embedding and how that helps with SpeedGrader? Yeah,
so if it's an LTI, you will be able to grade it in SpeedGrader. You will be able, it will connect and you'll be able to see that their stuff in one screen. Embedding is just going to be for things like that are more interactive and informative than something that would be graded. So I'm going to show you two examples of that now. And the first one actually is something you could use as a grade, as a quiz, but you could also just use this as an informative assessment. If you did use this as a thing, something you wanted to grade, you would have to hand put the grades into the grade book yourself. So let's go back to making an assignment. And in our class, I'll also bring this up. In our Camp Canvas class, I have put all of the embed information in at the bottom of the screen. So let me go and show you that module. So I have a whole list of LTIs and directions showing you how to do them step by step. And then below that, I have a whole bunch of embed options, everything from Desmos, PhET simulations, podcasts. If you want to embed it and you name it, and if you're something that's not on the list, we got 3 last class or last session that aren't on my list, and I'm going to add those later. If there are things that you want to know how you could embed, please let me know and I'd be glad to add it, and then everyone benefits from that information. So at the bottom of our course, there is a module called Other App Integrations or Other Application Integrations. There we go, or Outside Application Integrations, great. So I show you how to embed just some general integration stuff first. And then I have all the LTIs. So showing you how to do all the LTI things. One that's really cool is called Badger. And that's where you can add badging to your modules. and gamify your classroom, and in a remote setting, that could be really beneficial. On Monday at Make It Work Monday, I'm going to talk about and show everyone how to do that. So look to the Facebook group, RSVP for that event, and you can come see how to add badging to show student mastery and student skill acquisition to your modules. Other LTIs you can see listed here: Flipgrid, Adobe Spark, Canvas Studio, Equatio, Canvas, Khan Academy. The Khan Academy embed is just videos. It's not the activities. Again, for the activities, you still need to have students go through Clever. Nearpod, and again, the LTI is for paid accounts only. Edpuzzle, Kami, Google Apps, Office 365, those are the LTIs that I've shown. The embedding is where a lot of this content is going to be the free version. So if you're using the free version of Edpuzzle, this is how you would embed it. Google Form or Office 365 form, you can put those right on the page. So I have a whole list here of things, and I'm just going to show you 2 of them now. So one I want to show you is quizzes. So on this how to embed quizzes, you'll see on each of these pages, I give you a link to the app. I give you the Common Sense rating, so you can see a little bit about this tool and what Common Sense Media says about it. And then I give you the directions of how to embed this on your page step by step. And what's loading is the pictures. So I show you where you're going to get the code that you're going to embed, where you're going to copy it. Then for this one, they don't actually provide you directly the embed code at Quizzes. You have to create it. And what we create embed codes with is called an iframe. So sometimes apps are going to give you that iframe, and sometimes they're not. Even if they don't give you that iframe, you can create the iframe and just put the link that they provide you in. So in this case, we have to use this iframe that I created and shared. And we're going to, where it says share link here, that link we're copying from Quizzes is going to go in that space. So let me show you on a page. Let me go to page. So if any of you were like 90s kids like me, and you had like a GeoCities page, and you made your little first website back in the 90s, and you dealt in the HTML, maybe some of that will come back to you now, doing this embed stuff and working in Canvas on the HTML side. And you'll be like, oh my gosh, I remember that. Like, I remember those little nerdy things that I did in the 90s.
That was why you picked 90s boy band music?
Obviously,
Okay.
obviously.
Yes.
All right, so on a page, you could also embed this on an assignment if you wanted, but again, that's not going to grade in SpeedGrader. All right, so quizzes, example. All right, you'll see here I'm in the Rich Content Editor box. In the bottom right corner, I have a little greater than, less than, slash sign. That takes me to the HTML editor. I'm going to click that. I'm going to know that I'm on that side, the HTML side, when the toolbar goes away. You'll notice that the toolbar for the Rich Content Editor is gone. I don't have all those choices. So now I know I'm on the HTML side. This is where I'm going to paste that code. So that's the code that I provided you in the directions. So the how to embed things, this is that iframe code. I'm going to paste that first. Then I'm going to go over to quizzes. And I'm going to get the share link for a quiz. So Quizzes has tons of quizzes you can just search for, which is great, but you can also make them, edit the ones you find as well. If you haven't used Quizzes, it's very similar in a way to Kahoot, but I like it better. It's a little bit funner. All right, so I am going to, on my thing, I'm going to assign it as homework. You can pick a due date, so the date the quiz will end, and I'm going to say continue. So it's making the homework assignment. And then I'm going to click where it says share a link. I'm going to get that link. I'm going to copy the link. All right, and then I'm gonna go back to my page and I'm gonna paste it where I had share link here. Oops, I wanna keep the quotation marks, so I don't wanna delete those. I just wanna replace just the letters. And that's where I'm gonna paste. All right, so now I have that quizzes link there. Then when I click back, then the quizzes will be embedded on the page. And yeah, this does not work with SpeedGrader. So if someone does your quizzes, you're gonna have to go and hand put the grades in, but it is an option, like I said, for an informative activity. So this is practice before the real quiz. Maybe you're gonna use a Canvas quiz for the real thing, but you just wanna give kids a fun way to compete against each other and practice. This is, quizzes is fun. You'll see if, let me page, if you haven't seen quizzes before, I'll save it. And let me play and I'll show you how fun it is. Compared to the quiz, the Canvas quizzes, it's just more interactive and fun. They put little memes between each question and the kids love it. There's music, kind of like music like Kahoot. I think quizzes music is better. Personally, but maybe that's years of like Kahoot music. All right, and I am competing against everyone in my class, but I'm independent. So that's a little meme. I don't, it's very small there on the embedded version apparently. They can turn the music off if they hate it. Yeah, so it's just a great option to make your classes, again, a little more engaging on the page and not having to make them go somewhere else. So the more that you can embed and keep them in Canvas itself, it's gonna help your users. Do we have any questions, Billy?
You know, there's a lot of LTI talking and a lot of what about this? What about this one? What about this one? I think in my experience, I've always found that like the embedding part with that code, if you can, like you were saying, keeps them inside of Canvas, but even if they're on a mobile device, it still looks good for the user.
Yeah, it does. And also anything that you embed accessibility wise, you want to make sure that above the embed, you put a direct link to that thing so that they can open it in a new window. So if someone is using a screen reader, they're not going to be able to implement those embedding items. You want them to be able to go directly to that website. So above the embed, put a link directly to the item.
One thing that does keep coming up is everybody's like, wait, where did she get that code? Could you show us where to get that embed
which code?
That embed code that you used to embed, I think it was quizzes, right?
Yeah. So I get it up from the how to embed quizzes page that's in our Camp Canvas class.
Okay. Is that also in the module?
It's in the module, yep. So
okay.
It's in the other app integrations module at the very bottom of the page.
Got it, very bottom.
Yep. And I show you step by step everything and how it will look. This game code's old, so that's why it's not there. I want to show you another embed that I think is really good for informative activities for your students, especially vocabulary building. And that's Quizlet. So do we have some Quizlet users?
I love Quizlet. Live my life in Quizlet.
So yeah, Quizlet's great. You can do flashcards and matching. And so it's really for building vocabulary. Would you say? You know, you can also, in this case, there's an image and associating a diagram. So you could do just words to definitions, or you could do diagrams to words, which is cool. So on Quizlet, and this is actually made by someone in our district, this is associated with the SOL. Stop. The Quizlet is easier. They give you the embed code. So sometimes tools are going to directly give you the embed code, and it makes your life a lot easier. So anything embedded does not take you out of Canvas unless they click the app to go outside of it. So that's why the embedding is a really super powerful option, because it keeps them in Canvas. Let's see if it's going to load again. All right, here we go. So again, Quizlet, you make your flashcards, you make your activities. They provide you the embed code, and it's just copy and paste. So below the image, I have 3 little dots. I'm going to click those. So it's a sideways snowman. It's fallen down. And I'm going to click embed. So they actually provide you the embed code. Whenever you see the little greater than less than sign like this, that means someone's giving you the embed code. So Wakelet does that. Kahoot does that, I think. A lot do that. So embed code, we're going to copy it. You'll see that for Quizlet, they actually give you 2 options. Do I want to embed a matching game, or do I want to embed learning? So on one page, you could embed one thing. On the other page, you could embed the matching. So you could have one page where they learn, one page where they match. So I'm going to do the matching option. Okay. Oh, let's go back to it. Maybe. Okay. So I'm going to copy the embed code. Then I'm going to go to my page. Again, I'm going to that HTML backside, going behind the curtain, just like the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to paste that code. Remember, I know I'm in the backside because that toolbar is gone. That toolbar is not there. I know I'm in the HTML side. Then I'm going to come back to the front. And I'm going to see that activity embedded. Now, it may be skinny. It may be over to the left and just kind of skinny. Where is it? Let me, still loading. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So it may take me a while. And then I'm just going to save. And then that activity is going to be built into your page, and the students can do the activity right there. Again, we want to try and, especially the little kids, we want to try and make it so they don't have to navigate to 5 different places. So anything that we can put on the page and let them do right here in Canvas is not just going to help that student out, it's going to help the parent out. And let's be honest, parents are going to need as much help like this first couple months as possible. So making things as easy for them is it's not here, obviously. So I don't know if I missed a little letter in the code, or I think my computer's just tired of presenting.
It's been a long week for your computer.
It has. My computer needs some love, or I just need to get a new one.
While that's loading, can you again, just because it keeps coming up again and again, in an elevator pitch, tell them LTI versus embed?
Yeah, LTIs are tools that truly integrate with Canvas and integrate with the grade book of Canvas. So they are tools that connect to Canvas, and the grade can be imported directly. Embedding is just an activity that you put on a page, but is not truly integrated with Canvas. You're just pasting some code that shows the tool, but there's in no way really any connection, and it will not sync with the gradebook.
Perfect.
Katie, can you show them where to go to see the list of, or to search the LTIs?
Yep, so.
That came up a couple times too.
So that would be from an assignment page, and that's when the submission type, and I'll go there in a second. Let me just try and see if this is gonna ever embed. So from a page, you can actually add some LTI tools just to show. Yeah, my computer is very unhappy right now. Let me try and close some things.
As that's loading, one of my things with LTIs, just because it's coming up again, is that if it is a true LTI, then students don't have to log in. So that's so helpful, especially for our littles. They've already got into Canvas. We don't want to ask them to have to log back into Flipgrid or log back into Adobe Spark. They're all good. They're in. It's wonderful. 365, they're already in. That's the LTI versus embed.
Yeah. And most of the embeds for things like the Quizlet or the quiz, they're just going to enter their name. There's not really a login. They're just telling you their name. So here we go. On the assignment, you're going to pick external tool. Then you'll click find. And it will bring up the window with a list of the LTIs that are available to you in your school.
One of the things I noticed, Katie, was when you clicked find, it also pulled up some of the redirect tools you did as well, right?
Yeah, I thought that was, I hadn't noticed that before, but yes, some of those were
Right.
there. I had a
So-
question about Brain Pop. Brain
Yeah.
Pop will still be accessed via Clever. So anything that is in Clever now will continue to be accessed through Clever this year. Maybe in future years, they will migrate to Canvas.
But like
I-
right there, Katie, I see that Clever is as one of your external tools. So that could even help kids be able to have one button to click to say, oh, I got to go to Clever for this assignment.
Not as no, Scotty, Brain Pop is not an LTI this year. Discovery Ed. Janelle or Billy or Nisha, do any of you guys know about Discovery Ed? No, I don't know. I think it's still through Clever.
Yeah, Diane's working on it, but it
Yeah.
hasn't been added yet.
This is our first year with the real LMS.
It is. You will see World Book as an option now. So we'll say send, select, and World Book. That's an option that everyone has. And you'll see students will be able to do some things with that. Is there any other questions, Billy?
Someone just asked, LTIs keeps you in Canvas, right? Embeds keep you in Canvas, but sometimes you want to link out so that students, if they want to, they can click out of Canvas.
Exactly, especially if they're on a mobile device, you'll want to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
And also just for accessibility. Soft Chalk, don't worry about it. It's old. It's not good. we don't have a district account, so it's listed there, but we have no. It's like old school Nearpod.
Look, 2010 was a good year.
Yeah, 2010. Yeah. So I think that's all the content I have directly for today. So if you guys want to put the attendance session or attendance form, make sure to fill out the attendance. There are 5 unnamed and there are 1 of me. And if you don't fill out the attendance, I'm sorry for the sad stories, but there's just no way for us to verify your attendance. This is, it's just like if a kid was walking into your room, like, or you went to a PD in person, if you don't fill out the form, you don't sign the form. So please fill out the form.
And that is really because central office is saying in order for this to be an officially approved PD, that you automatically get those research points. That's what they want. If this was just us just goofing around, we'd give you the attendance form.
All right. So now we'll move to Q&A time. So at the bottom of your screen, you should be able to raise your hand. And so please go ahead and the hands can start raising and I will be glad to take questions.
Maya.
Billy, do you want to moderate the people raising hands?
Yeah, I'm trying to find where I can find all 181 people to see their hand raised.
It looks like Robin Hilliard, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
I'd like to.
Sorry about that. Yes, I do. I was trying to do attendance at the same time because I didn't know when you called. And so it like blocks the bottom. I'm like, ah. Okay, so I'm getting confused on if it's an LTI, you do it through what you were just showing us, but Clever is there. But because you're going through Clever, it's not really an LTI, it's being embedded. Is that it?
No, for Clever, those things will just be outside of Canvas completely.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out, so if we as a school have vocabulary.
So if that's your school account, so.
Right, will it be considered an LTI at any point, or is that something that cannot be manipulated?
Yeah, so Flocabulary is now bought by Nearpod, and I know
Mhm.
Nearpod is trying to bring a fully vocabulary into Nearpod. So I would say eventually, but as of right now, no.
No, okay. So it's still considered an embed code, right?
Yep.
Okay, and I don't want to confuse anyone, but can I ask you one more question?
Mhm.
Okay, the media that is up on the top of the rich text box or the
Okay.
rich content,
Mhm.
okay? You know, you can click on media up there and you can also get to the, I don't want to confuse anyone, but you can get to the an embed code up there as well. Is there a difference between that, doing it through that embed?
So that would be just for like an immediate embed code.
Uh-huh.
Like if you got it from,
Like YouTube.
YouTube.
yeah, YouTube or Vimeo, that's
Okay.
all that embed code would be for.
Okay, so that is not as functional as what you just showed us.
Correct. That
Doesn't
would
have
just
the
be for,
same.
yeah. They're just making it so like for media, you don't have to go behind the wall. They're just saying you can put it here and we'll put it behind the wall for you.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I see Molly Kelly.
Yes. So I'm a new hire and I don't have my account set up because I don't have a laptop yet. However, I've been taking good notes, and my question is, if I have a team that's doing summer school, is there a way that when I finally get my account going that I can copy and paste all of their units and things that they've already created into my account?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they will be able to share that information with you and you'll be able to copy it right into your courses.
Okay, thank you.
And if you've done stuff in like, did you make a free account, you said?
No, I actually have a Prince William County email through my substituting, but I've just been poking around with taking notes and poking around on the Sandbox as a student, but I haven't been able to do anything other than upload a picture.
Have they made you a teacher?
Yes, but they haven't.
If they set you as a teacher to that course, you should then have teacher powers.
Right, and they haven't done that yet.
Yeah, so you could reach out to them and say, hey, can you make me a teacher in the course? And then you would have that power. Like they could literally change your role.
Who does that?
Who's in your group? Any person that's a teacher in that class can do it for you.
Oh, so any of my colleagues that I'm working with can make me a teacher in their group.
Yep.
Through
So
my
like, you could even make a student a teacher in a class. Like,
through
so
my Prince William County.
What?
Through my Prince William County email, even though I'm set up as a substitute, I haven't been switched over.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So even if you were running a club or a sport, if you had a team captain or you had a club president, the teacher could give that person that teacher role for that class, and then they'd be able to be a teacher.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So even co-teachers or TAs could even be given a teacher role by a teacher if they wanted.
Great. Thanks so much. This has been helpful.
Good. Can you show how to give a teacher role? Sure. So I'm going to go into people. So you just go into the people part of your classroom. And you'll see each person listed. And at the end, you'll see 3 dots. The 3 dots are always like where you can do something.
Your screen is frozen.
It's just slow. I don't know what's happening. Still spinning.
Oh, then it's not frozen.
Yeah, I don't know what today's been going on.
There it is.
Yeah. All right, 3 dots. I can edit the role. And then I can change the role from student to teacher to faculty, etc. So edit role and then change the role.
Very powerful.
Yep.
I will say heads up, if you run a club and you you make a student a teacher of that club, that also gives them commons access. So just an FYI.
Yep, it does.
Next up is Laura. I'm going to mess up your last name. I'm so sorry, but could you unmute?
Yeah, that's okay. Katie, a while back you showed a page that had all the links to exactly how you would grab a code for, I guess was quizzes, whatever. Where was that?
So it's in our course, the Camp Canvas Live course. It's in the very bottom module.
The bottom module. Okay, thank you.
Other application integrations is what the module is called.
And then Katie, I was looking and I was trying to chat and messing up, but we have all of our guides, our session guides are listed in our Camp Canvas course as well, correct?
They are, yeah. They're in the course Wakelet at the top of the page. Yep.
Okay.
And at the bottom of every module, so like at the end of today, I'll be putting the videos for today's sessions at the bottom of the day 4 module. So at the bottom of day 1, the videos and the text chat are there. Bottom of day 2, the videos and text chat are there. Bottom of 3, videos and text chat are at the bottom of those modules.
Perfect. Who else got questions?
Oh, I got something I can share. So if you are wanting to look for some of our Wakelets, I pretty much have them all in my page.
Team Wakelet.
And you can follow me. We'll be making more. But the light blue things are teachers. So any Wakelet where the cover is a light blue, those are things to tell you how to do something. Any dark blue, those are Wakelets for students. So those are things you can share with students for student directions. So you can follow me, and then as we add more, you can share those with your students or use them as needed. Yeah, so like these are for students. Any dark blue color shows them how to use the tool.
And speaking from a high school perspective, if some of you are going to want to build like resources, my AP Gov teacher last year built her whole course on Wakelet. She put in her Flipgrids and her PDFs and her Nearpods and everything. It's a great tool.
Do you guys want me to show it to you real quick?
Sure.
Yeah. So when you're Wakelet, you can log in with your Microsoft account. What you create are called collections. So I have all these collections that I've made. Billy, aren't you proud of look at my graphics?
I am so proud of your graphics. The nerd time of us this summer has been amazing.
Look at that. Look at that. All right.
We are addicted to Adobe stock.
Making it look real professional here. All right. When you pay for graphics, they look, all right.
All right. Copyright
so,
infringement.
What?
I said Annie didn't infringe on any copyrights.
Nope.
You own the
I
license.
am following digital citizenship, intellectual property laws.
So proud.
Yes. Modeling. All right, so create a collection. You click create a new collection. You get to upload a cover image, which is those images I'm now so proud of. So you add your cover image. The dimensions for those, if you want to make them in Canva, are 800 by 600, and I put that in the chat. So if you make a custom image size in Canva, a graphic program, you put the image here. Then you enter a title, example. All right, and then you can add all this kind of content. So you can add text, tweets, images, documents, YouTube videos, any link that you can put in. So if there's a website you want to go to a kid to go to, you can add that. You can also, over here, add a background image. I'm not such a fan of the background image. I kind of like the white background. Billy loves the background.
Do love a good background image.
Yeah. And then you can also share the copy collection. That means when someone gets to your Wakelet, they can make a copy and edit it, like make a copy and then revise it or edit it for their own purposes. So they can kind of start with yours or not. Then you also have some sharing settings, and you can make it public so everyone can see, and that's going to be on my page. Or if it's unlisted, like I could share the link out and no one can see it on my page, or just private, it's just for me. So
right.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Billy?
I was going to say, can you go to one of the ones that you've made?
Yeah, of course.
And
Wakelet would be a good use for parents, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, Wakelets can be embedded into your Canvas course. So they are an embed option.
Yeah, that's what I want you to show.
Yeah, I love, and that we've embedded one into the course. It's the Canvas Wakelet is embedded. Here, I'll show you this one.
So one of the things I was thinking from an elementary perspective, I love that when you hit share, you can do the QR code as well. And so thinking of so many kids that might just have a small device, everybody knows how to scan the QR code with their camera, and then it pops up that Wakelet for them.
So yeah, you could even put this QR code in your classroom, in your Canvas room. And then, I don't know why they would do that, but in the real classroom, you could put it on the wall or in the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another great part of Wakelet is Immersive Reader is built in. So students can use that Immersive Reader, that reading enhancement tool with it as well.
And then for those of us who love Microsoft Teams, you can embed this right into Microsoft Teams. It has a link that goes right in.
I don't make I don't make presentations really for my virtual trainings anymore. I don't make slides and stuff. I just make a Wakelet. So like I'm doing some trainings next week for a school district in Chicago.
Like
or a
podcasts
school.
of the new essays, expand your BLN.
Yes. And so yeah, I am not making slides. I will just share Wakelets and go through those. I have a new way to think about presenting.
If your computer is not too tired, could you show how to get that LTI for Nearpod?
Yeah, definitely. So we have in the classroom, we have a Wakelet all about the steps you need to do to get Nearpod. But you can also just Google Nearpod integrations. Yeah, Nearpod integration. And I'm sure I'm going to get this page. Yep, you're going to go to this page that says Learning Management Systems. And this is where you're going to click this blue button to get that shared secret and consumer code that you'll put into the app when you add it from your course settings.
I found that almost anything, I'll Google that and LTI and see if it pops up.
Yep.
And then usually if it doesn't, you find a forum where everybody is asking for it.
It's true. Yeah, like the Kami LTI you can find, but apparently like they try to make it seem like you have to pay for it, but you don't.
Right. Silly gooses.
Yeah. Other questions? Do we have any hands?
No hands that I see.
Did everyone
77
get
people.
the attendance?
Yeah, Katie's big on attendance.
I just don't like having to tell people I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah, that's a lot of feelings.
it's a lot of feelings.
Could your synopsis of Kahoots?
Kahoots,
gonna-
yeah, I have those in my list of embed options. Let's see. So let me go back. Go down to. Oh, and you know, there is a great trick if you're trying to go through a web page with a lot of stuff on it. Oh, let's see, not working. Can't use control. Oh, it's just slowly working. There we go. Control F, and then you can search for what you want to get down that page quickly.
Stephen Ma method.
And I can go to how to embed a Kahoot. So I just controlled F and then typed in the word Kahoot to find what I want on my page. It's just so slow. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to turn it off and let it take a nap.
They do need naps. They get tired.
Apparently. It's been going for a few months now. I guess it's.
Command R and reset the whole thing?
I won't do that now. But I'll just say that in this link or in this list, in the Kahoot one, the directions are there.
I can't remember. With Kahoot, does it have the embed like Quizlet does? Or
That's what I don't know. On my page, it will tell you. Let's see. Kahoot. Let's try and open it. Come on. It just didn't want to open. It's opening, I think. All right, yes. The list, Teresa, is in the Canvas classroom. Everything is there.
Modules.
Yeah. All right, Kahoot. You create your Kahoot, and then you go to the play button, the share button. You'll say you want to do the challenge. You don't want to host it, so you want it to be remote. You'll say you'll copy the URL, and you will, oh yeah, this one you add from the module, and you can add it from the module as an assignment, and you're going to click, oh, external URL, put it in the external URL. That's how you're going to share this one.
Oh, that's fancy.
Mm-hmm. And then it would take up the whole page. Yeah. So
If that was overwhelming to you, for the 63 people still listening, I recommend office hours.
yes,
We'll do it together.
3 p.m. today.
Truth.
3 p.m. The website is
live.itcs.forall.com.
Summer.
Summer
Is that-
2020, but I have it set to if you
Oh,
just
I
click
wondered
the
if it
link,
was
it'll-
still,
it'll
yeah.
just get you
Yeah.
in.
All right. Any other questions for the whole group? I hope you thought these were some really great ways to make your classes more engaging and make it not just that they're reading and then answering some questions. Reading and answering some questions. That is going to make people stop taking your online class. That is good. If you're just having them read something and answer questions, kids are going to stop. And parents are going to be unhappy.
Relationships.
Relationships, yeah.
Katie, Teresa asked a question, and I don't know this answer. When this is all said and